I think like this is the best way to explain to people plainly what is going on. I took an article that's not from politics or anything world changing, but anyone that reads the newspapers day after day will notice this massive level of hypocrisy. And here you have on the left Keanu Reeves, which in my opinion isn't even obese. Like, I, as a doctor, if I take his measurements and I take his weight, I don't think his body mass index is going to show me that he is obese, right? And meanwhile, the mainstream media is saying that he needs to shape up, right? He's being blasted for being chubby while spending family day on a boat. It is very bizarre, right? The fact that they are editorializing this is what's interesting. Like, the man is in his private time, spending time with his family, and the mainstream media goes out of its way in order to editorialize and tell you what to think about this issue, right? So they're not just showing you a picture of Keanu Reeves with his family. They are telling you you should shame him because he is overweight. This is the article, right? Okay. And then you have the same publication, which is saying that Lizzo, which in my opinion is a little bit more overweight than Keanu, a little bit, and it teaches us a huge self-love despite all the trolls and the naysayers. So again, they are editorializing. They are telling you what you should think. Now, when you put these articles side by side, you notice that they're being hypocritical. But the way that people read the articles isn't side by side. Like, you read this one day and you read this one after a couple of months. And the thing is, it's not just this publication. Like, this is why I'm not even showing you where it's from. All the mainstream media does this. Like, first of all, so the biggest sins that the mainstream media is doing. Number one, they're not just presenting the news anymore. Like, they're not, presenting the news would be Keanu Reeves is on vacation with his family. Here's a couple of photos. No, they're not doing that. They're editorializing. They are telling you what you should think. This is what the church used to do, right? So back in the day, if you happened to be in a rural village, you would go with your family to Sunday church. The priest would hold mass. And then he would talk about the problems of the village. And he would tell people how to think about those problems. It's like, well, there's a drought. The reason there's a drought is because we haven't prayed enough. It's because Bob here is a drunk and he doesn't want to let go of the liquor. Because, like, Bob is a sinner and we're all sinners. And we need to pray more. We need to stop doing sin. Right? Like, they would tell you how to think about certain events. This is literally the same shit, right? And they are having an agenda. Like, they're not trying to set a couple of rules for society, right? They are basically trying to say that in this situation, you should think like this. In this other situation, which is literally the same, you should think differently. Now, what the media does, it's not that it convinces people that this is acceptable and this isn't. What it tells people is that you need to speak what we tell you to say so that you can be accepted by your circle of friends. Like, if you do not say the things we say, even if you know they're false, other people will ostracize you. Like, you will get in trouble with your friends. You may get in trouble at work. People will view you suspiciously. This is what the newspapers are for. They are there to create the political correct narrative that you, whether you agree or disagree with it, you have to parrot it. And I spoke with a lot of left-leaning people that work in the corporate environment, and they feel the same way, especially during the pandemic. There were a lot of things that they didn't believe. There were a lot of things that they disagreed with the press, but they would never say them out loud because they knew that they would get in trouble. And the funny thing is that you can be in a group with 10 other people, and all the other people believe the same thing. Like, they do not believe what they are saying, but they would never articulate what they genuinely think because they're afraid that they would get into trouble even though everyone would agree with them. And you have to also pretend to be outraged, right? Like, for example, if you switch these thumbnails and you put Lizzo instead of Keanu Reeves and you have, like, this article linked to her, oh my god. Oh Dios mío. And you know what's even funnier? Like, this is absolutely hilarious. Turns out that Lizzo is in a scandal now because she was fat shaming some of her backup dancers and other people who worked with her, right? Like this is the culture we are in. Like to create narcissism for people and allow these people to do whatever they want with no repercussion, and you get to see the type of characters they have. Look at him, like calling Keanu Reeves flabby and weak. How old is Keanu Reeves, by the way? I mean, he's far older than me, right? He's got white hair on his beard. Like, you're allowed at a certain point in your life to become weak. I mean, you know, as you go towards your retirement years and you're approaching them, like, you're not going to be muscle man. But I guess, like, this is also what we see in video games, right? Like, this is literally the standard that it's expected, I guess. Men, like, if you look at the latest Mortal Kombat video game, the male characters, they're buffed, they're muscular, they have the faces of porn stars, they have naked chests, right? And it's kind of like the Kratos physique in most of these video games. However, the female characters, boring, bland, ugly looking, and I see that this is like what the Western entertainment constantly tries to do, especially on Netflix. My wife, for example, was looking at the Wheel of Time. I never looked at it, but she was pointing out how all the female characters are middle-aged, bland, boring looking, and all the men were stars, basically. They looked great, you know, the exact way you would expect a male character to look like in a TV show. And the problem with this is that it was ruining immersion for her, because she was wondering, like, why would these handsome men ever even look at these plain aged women? And it was hard for me to explain to her, because she doesn't understand any American politics. She doesn't know what's going on, and it's a double standard that's very bizarre, is what I'm saying. Like, it's just so weird. Like, if you happen to be a gay man, or if you happen to be a woman, then congratulations. Like, there's a lot of sex appeal for you in Western media. If you happen to be a straight cisgender man, they are doing their best in order to make sure that you do not get to enjoy anything on television or in video games. It is what it is, right? And you get to see the same articles. It's like, yeah, well, why isn't Keanu Reeves hot? Like, don't you know that there are women that want to see you in movies? Like, why are you like this? You need to shape up. You need to become buff and muscular. With Lizzo, it's okay. It's fine. You know, she can twerk while playing a flute. Yeah. It's not even like double standard. It's just a weird way of trying to engineer society, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.